They say there's nothing more American than peanut butter, but have you ever wondered what it really takes to turn millions of tons of peanuts into that smooth, creamy spread we can't get enough of? Picture row after row of peanut plants across sprawling farmland, eventually funneled into massive industrial machines that can process astonishing amounts of peanuts each day. Yet behind these impressive operations lurk controversies and hidden truths that most of us never consider. It's not just about grinding peanuts into paste, it's a tale of risk, reward, and secrets that leave even industry insiders quietly whispering about what really goes on. At first glance, peanuts might seem humble. After all, you can buy them at any grocery store, see them served at baseball games, and watch them disappear by the handful at parties. But the moment they enter a sprawling processing facility, the journey transforms into something epic. And while we love the convenience of picking up a jar of peanut butter, there's an intricate chain of events that leads from the fields to our kitchen cabinets. This is the story of how one of the world's most beloved spreads is made at a colossal scale. Along the way, we'll dive into controversies over industrial methods, shocking recalls that once brought giant brands to their knees, and the looming question of whether peanut butter's future is as bright as its past. The modern peanut industry spans across continents, with each country contributing its own flavors, agricultural methods, and controversies. The world produces tens of millions of tons of peanuts every year, led by giants like China, India, and the United States. In the US alone, states like Georgia and Alabama become a sea of green in late summer, brimming with peanut fields that stretch toward the horizon. Yet volume is only part of the story. The greater challenge lies in turning these staggering harvests into a product that remains delicious and safe. If you dig into history, you'll find that peanut butter has been around in some form for centuries. Some point to the ancient Aztecs who ground roasted peanuts into a paste. But it wasn't until the late 19th century that peanut butter made its first big appearance in North America. Modern factories took hold of that idea and ran with it, shaping the peanut into a global phenomenon worth billions. Over time, demands for quality, health benefits, and variety have soared, driving innovation in farming practices. However, with these changes came uneasy debates about genetically modifying crops to produce bigger yields. Proponents argue these modifications help feed a growing population, while critics worry about long-term ecological effects and the potential risk to human health. You might also hear hushed rumors about factories buying peanuts from questionable sources just to cut costs. Though not always substantiated, the suspicion alone is enough to spark heated discussions in agricultural circles. These debates underscore the reality. Scaling peanut butter to feed the world is far more complex and sometimes more contentious than a simple peanut spread would suggest. But massive farms and gigantic harvests were just the beginning. Once these peanuts are harvested, they embark on a critical trip from farm to factory, often traveling hundreds or even thousands of miles. Picture enormous trucks loaded to the brim, rumbling across highways on strict schedules. Factories expect shipments to arrive at just the right time because any delay can wreak havoc on production lines, and no major brand wants empty supermarket shelves. Then there's the matter of labor. Some farms have come under scrutiny for how they treat and pay their workers. While the topic doesn't always make headlines, whispers about unfair wages or tough working conditions crop up from time to time. And that's not the only challenge. Peanuts are sensitive crops. Poor weather can lead to mold issues, and if even one part of the batch is compromised, entire truckloads might be rejected. Factory managers must be vigilant. Substandard peanuts can taint the whole production process, creating a chain reaction of costly problems. Once the trucks finally arrive at a factory, technicians perform quality checks before the peanuts even enter the building. Some say there's a secret list of red flag traits factories look for, suspecting that peanuts with certain visual imperfections might hide mold or toxins. Though the specifics vary, every facility sets its own stringent standards. These measures protect their reputation because once the public hears about a single contaminated jar, trust evaporates overnight. Competition in the peanut butter market is fierce, and brand loyalty hinges on consistent, reliable quality. Yet, all that was only the prelude to what happens next. The first major step inside the factory is shelling. Giant metallic contraptions built for speed and volume use carefully calibrated belts and rollers to strip away shells, bits of dirt, and any other debris. At top speed operations, these machines can handle thousands of peanuts each minute, spitting out bare peanut kernels on the other side with surprising accuracy. It's a mesmerizing sight. Peanuts rush in, shells clatter away, and neatly cleaned kernels tumble out in what looks almost like a cascading waterfall. But it's not all perfect. Sometimes the shelling process reveals hidden problems like rot or mold. Keen-eyed workers or sophisticated sensors are on standby to spot these flaws and remove tainted peanuts before they spoil an entire batch. If a load slips through unnoticed, the consequences can be dire. Some factories have endured massive losses after discovering contamination mid-process, which forces them to discard thousands of pounds of product. Worse yet, if contaminated peanut butter somehow reaches consumers, the public backlash can be catastrophic. In fact, the peanut butter world has suffered notorious recalls in the past. Salmonella scares have erupted periodically, sending alarmed shoppers scouring their pantries for specific batch numbers. In one particularly damaging instance, allegations surfaced that a plant responsible for a widespread contamination had cut corners on inspections. Whether or not the rumors hold, the fallout was swift and brutal. Shelves were cleared, lawsuits mounted, and big-name brands scrambled to regain public trust. From a single oversight, entire factories can end up on the front pages, grappling with accusations that their safety measures weren't as robust as they claimed. Once the shells are gone, the real transformation begins. Many aficionados say roasting is where the true art of peanut butter begins. Once the peanuts are shelled and cleaned, they're loaded into massive roasting chambers. Inside these specially designed ovens, temperatures can climb to more than 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The ideal roast time varies, but those few minutes are crucial. Too short, and you risk a bland, raw taste. Too long, and you get a scorched, bitter note that's tough to mask. The exact settings each brand uses, time, temperature, airflow, are often closely guarded secrets. Some speculate that big peanut butter companies have shadow labs where they run roast tests behind locked doors, ensuring their signature flavor remains unmatched. While that might sound dramatic, flavor is everything in this industry. One slip in the roasting phase can send a brand's reputation plummeting. But the pressure doesn't stop there. Consumers have become picky about taste consistency. They want each jar to taste exactly the same as the last. Roasting is a delicate dance of chemistry. Carbohydrates caramelize and oils deepen in flavor, all under carefully monitored conditions. Any glitch, maybe a variation in peanut moisture content or a malfunctioning oven valve, can result in thousands of pounds of peanuts with a subpar roast. Factories often keep backup plans, ready to pivot or halt production if real-time data suggests something's off. Time is money, but a flawed roast can cost them far more than a few hours of downtime. But even the sweetest roast can't compare to what happens in the grinding room. After roasting, peanuts take a trip down conveyor belts toward colossal grinders that can pulverize thousands of pounds at a time. Stand next to one of these machines and you'll feel the rumble right through your bones. Inside, large steel burrs or rotary blades crush the peanuts, gradually morphing them into a thick paste. Oil content, roast level, and mechanical force all come together in a delicate synergy, transforming roasted nuts into that creamy spread we recognize instantly. But not everyone wants it smooth. The chunky versus creamy debate might sound trivial, yet it has sparked countless debates among peanut butter loyalists. Factories often run parallel lines, producing a creamy version and a crunchy version to appease both sides. Interestingly, small variations in grinder blade spacing can yield very different textures. Consumers might not realize that entire marketing campaigns have revolved around tiny adjustments in those grinder settings. Ads tout the crunchiest crunch or the smoothest creaminess, all while technical teams fine-tune the machines to achieve each brand's signature mouthfeel. Handling this paste poses its own challenges. With so many peanuts ground into a thick consistency, the risk of bacterial growth has to be taken seriously. Factories maintain strict temperature controls and add salt or other preservatives to keep bacteria at bay. One slip in this stage can open the door for contamination issues, something the peanut industry is all too familiar with. Quality checks, microbial tests, and airtight cleaning protocols become the lifelines that protect both consumers and corporate reputations. However, once it's a paste, not everyone sticks to the same formula. Here's where peanut butter gets complicated. Purists believe the only true peanut butter includes roasted peanuts, salt, and maybe a dash of oil. Yet walk down any grocery aisle and you'll see a dizzying array of additives: sugar, molasses, hydrogenated oils, palm oil, and even chocolate or honey in specialty blends. It's a kaleidoscope of flavor possibilities, but also a battleground for health-conscious shoppers. A vocal group of critics argue that these additives dilute the wholesome nature of peanut butter, transforming it into a sugary spread more reminiscent of dessert. Some controversies revolve around ingredient labels. Over the years, accusations surfaced that a few brands weren't entirely transparent about their formulations. Allegations ranged from natural labels on jars that contained sneaky sweeteners or added oils to ambiguous wording that confused customers about the real salt content. In many places, regulations demand clarity, but critics say certain companies walk a fine line between clever marketing and outright deception. Then there's the critical matter of allergies. Peanut allergies can be life-threatening, so companies must label their products meticulously. Even the possibility of cross-contamination, like peanuts being processed on equipment that also handles tree nuts, sparks intense debates and legal battles. Brands typically plaster warning labels on jars, but some advocates insist they don't go far enough. They argue that the seriousness of peanut allergies warrants more than a tiny printed note on the back. It's a conflict that plays out quietly behind the scenes as companies try to balance mass production with the safety of consumers who depend on accurate labeling to avoid tragic incidents. Still, the journey doesn't end until every jar is sealed and shipped. Once the peanut paste is perfected, be it creamy, crunchy, or flavored, the next big step is packaging. Enormous filling machines line up jars by the hundreds, squirting precise amounts of peanut butter into each one. High-speed capping arms then swoop down, securing lids in seconds. The jars may move so quickly that if you blink, you'll miss the entire process. Packaging lines are a testament to the marvel of modern industry, capable of churning out thousands of sealed jars per hour. Branding is where all that hard work meets the consumer's eye. Think of the labels promising velvety perfection or crunch with every bite. Marketing teams wage fierce battles to capture your attention in the crowded peanut butter aisle. Some emphasize health by showcasing zero trans fats or low sugar, while others highlight taste and texture. Behind the scenes, rumors swirl about corporate buyouts and expansions, where one popular brand might be quietly absorbing smaller competitors to secure a bigger share of supermarket shelves. Occasionally, news leaks about factory expansions or labor disputes, offering a glimpse into the strategic maneuvers that keep these companies ahead. Then, there are supply chain uncertainties. In recent years, global shipping delays and cost fluctuations in raw materials have fueled speculation that peanut butter prices could surge. Some analysts warn that disruptions in peanut-growing regions, whether from droughts or hurricanes, can cause shortages. When major factories scramble to maintain production targets, smaller competitors might grab market share by offering alternative nut butters. It's an ongoing race that exemplifies just how globalized and interconnected this simple-seeming product has become. Yet, for all the buzz on store shelves, there's an even bigger question looming. DTT. For most of us, a world without peanut butter sounds almost unthinkable, yet experts project that the peanut industry could face mounting challenges. Climate patterns appear less predictable, putting harvests at risk. Extended droughts or unseasonal rain can wreak havoc on peanut crops, and that spells trouble for factories relying on steady supplies. If yields decline, factories might have to source peanuts from new regions, prompting yet another wave of controversy over quality and sustainability. Health trends also play a big role. Peanut butter has long been prized for its protein and rich flavor, yet some newer diets demonize traditional spreads high in fats or sugars. In response, companies have developed an entire market for light or all-natural peanut butter, or even powdered peanut butter that can reduce fat content. These innovations target health-conscious buyers while ensuring peanut butter remains a go-to choice for quick breakfasts, post-workout snacks, and everything in between. On the flip side, the plant-based movement has embraced peanut butter wholeheartedly. Vegan kitchens rely on it as a flavorful source of protein and healthy fats. However, allergies remain a concern, and some schools have gone peanut-free to protect vulnerable children. This shift raises questions. Will peanut butter eventually lose ground to seed or nut alternatives like almond or sunflower butter? Some industry watchers say peanuts will always maintain a foothold because they're cheaper and more widely available. But the conversation around food safety, environmental concerns, and evolving consumer preferences won't be going away anytime soon. After all we've seen, what's the final word on this peanut empire? From tiny seeds planted across vast farmlands to the massive factories churning out thousands of jars a day, peanut butter's journey is nothing short of remarkable. It's a process that demands agricultural expertise, mechanical precision, and unwavering attention to safety. Recalls have shown just how swiftly one factory's oversight can bring the industry to its knees, while controversies over labeling and additives highlight the tensions between profit, quality, and transparency. Meanwhile, climate concerns and shifting consumer tastes loom on the horizon, raising fresh questions about the future of our favorite sandwich spread. And yet, through all the rumors and real challenges, peanut butter still stands as a beloved kitchen staple for millions. Children grow up with peanut butter sandwiches in their lunch boxes. Fitness enthusiasts blend it into protein shakes, and home bakers whip it into their favorite cookies. Perhaps that's the true secret of peanut butter. It's more than a product. It's a cultural mainstay that adapts to changing tastes while retaining its comforting, familiar appeal. Now that you know the staggering scale of peanut production and the intricate steps required to transform these nuts into one of the world's most popular spreads, it might leave you wondering, how much longer can we sustain this love affair as demand skyrockets and global challenges mount? Only time will tell. In the meantime, the next time you pop open a jar, you'll have a deeper appreciation for the controversies, triumphs, and mysteries behind that smooth, irresistible flavor. And maybe, just maybe, you'll look at your peanut butter sandwich a little differently.